Good afternoon, everybody. Obviously, I'm Michael Glonek. I'm your APAS president, and I'm sorry I can't be with you this afternoon. I had a family matter to attend to. I'm going to be reading this off a script, which is really not me. I'm not. That's not my comfortable mode of operation. So bear with me as I look at my script and turn back and look at the screen a little bit. I want to thank all of you for attending this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the music and the food. And for those of your fellow members that couldn't attend, you can give them a brief on how the activities went for the afternoon and what some of the highlights were. And we will be publishing the minutes up on the APAS website. Well, I don't want to keep you very much longer. Hopefully this will be less than about 10 minutes. I just want to go over a few highlights. And okay, I'll start my script reading. We're 7 months into a new contract, and the issue taking second place after the 0% raise last July is staff development. During negotiations, we were at the table getting things ironed out in the contract. The issue of staff development came up, and we didn't actually have time to work out the mechanics. Actually, it was beyond our control at that point in time to work out the mechanics of how staff development would actually be charged or where it would be charged to. The intent, or the spirit of it, is that there would have been a pool of about $60,000, which would have been $500 for every member in the unit at that time, to use for staff development. So you would put in for whatever activity you were going to do, fill out this form. The form would go to somewhere in Todd Hall, and that amount would be deducted from your $500. But what actually happened is that money is being charged back to the departments, which is creating some issues for departments, which I'm sure some of you have already encountered. I've had several phone calls along that way. All I can tell you is I am in the process of trying to get that changed. I had talked to Dr. Anderson about that, and it was her understanding too that there would be a pool. So I don't know where that process is right now, but all I can tell you is that I'm trying to get it changed. So enough of that on how it's being charged back. Regarding staff development, a number of you have used that, which I'm really glad to hear. When you do use it, I would like an email letting me know what you did. Also, Dr. Anderson would like to have an email letting her know how you're using that staff development. She supported us on that issue, and she's very interested in how that's being used. When I first mentioned it sometime way before negotiations, she was totally for us having some form of staff development. That used to be part of the activities for staff and faculty a number of years ago, and for some reason it sort of faded into the sunset. But she was glad to see that we were pursuing that endeavor. So whenever you get an opportunity, send her an email, tell her thanks, let her know you appreciate it, because she likes to hear those kind of things, and she likes to hear what you're doing with staff development. And along that lines, recently through the Metro College, I made an attempt to provide some staff development for our members on campus, something that would be not very long, half a day, local, no travel, no undue stress on your departments for being gone a period of time. But evidently my first offering wasn't the kind of interest. It didn't develop the interest I hoped it would. I only had 6 members attend. I know there were some that wanted to but couldn't because of conflict. So on that note, let me just say that through the Metro College, I have the means and resources to provide all forms of staff development. So what I'd like for you, or from you, is let me know what you're interested in. Email me and let me know what you or your department would like to see some types of staff development brought to the campus. And if at all possible, I would do that through the Metro College. Again, I have a lot of resources that I can bring into play to do these kind of things. So again, let me know what you're interested in, and I'll see what I can do to meet that need. For the last 3 years and 7 months, your executive committees, I should say, I'm on my second term, so I'm with my second committee. But all in all, they've done an excellent job of providing effective and responsible leadership. Every one of them attend the exec meetings with your interest at the table, first and foremost. Nobody comes with a hidden agenda. Nobody comes with personal vendettas, whatever. Both of those executive committees have been upfront, and I'm sincere when I say that your interests are at their heart. And I say that because we need some input. We need some direction from you. Where would you like to see your leadership take your unit? Last 3 years, our emphasis was staff development. We made some progress in that area. We hope to keep that going. But also, I want to start a new endeavor. And what I see for us, since we're professionals, we hold professional positions, it's just logical that leadership would be part of that professional development. So my goal, the goal of the executive committee, is to move us in some forms of leadership. Now, don't panic. That doesn't mean we're pushing you out of the unit or anything of that nature. What we want to do is provide some types of leadership training. We're professionals. Professionals fulfill different forms of leadership. You don't necessarily have to be responsible to people or have people work under you, but you should be developing some forms of leadership to continue moving in that professional direction. So as an executive committee, we see staff development. We see leadership as another form for us, again, to move into. However, we don't want to tell you where to go or what direction to move into. We want you to tell us where you would like to go. Give us some input. Email me with your ideas. I think our membership should be moving this direction, or I think our membership should be developing these types of things. Let me know. Email me, and then I'll relay that to the executive committee, and we'll report back to you what we're going to do, how we can adjust the directions that we are taking. We've made some great gains, but again, we need your input. We want you to take an active part in the leadership and in the direction of our unit. So again, email me with any of your ideas. Next page. On a final note, because I don't want to keep you too long, you might even get out early. This is sort of a personal thing with me. If you remember, I started the last meeting on a patriotic note. I provided you with a brief history of the national anthem, and then I played the national anthem. Why? Because I personally believe that our Constitution and our Bill of Rights are being eroded from within our country. I don't know when the last time it was that you had an American history class, but it's been a long time for me. Actually, I carry a copy of the Constitution and Bill of Rights with me. I just flip through it every now and then, just to kind of reflect what our country stands for, what our founding fathers developed for us. So I thought it would be prudent to give us another brief snapshot of the history of our great nation. And I conclude this with a short reading from a book that I got called Founding Fathers, Uncommon Heroes. It's by Stephen W. Allen. Stephen does an effective summary of the lives of Ben Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Patrick Henry, and James Madison. And he describes how instrumental they are to this country. Stephen writes the following. Every man who signed the Declaration of Independence clearly declared his severing of personal allegiance to the King of England. Every signer knew he was putting his safety, his very life on the line by declaring independence. Every signer knew that the English would regard this as a treasonous act. Every signer knew the personal repercussions would be extensive, could be devastating, and they were. Of the 56 who signed the Declaration of Independence, 9 died of wounds or hardships during the war. 5 were captured and imprisoned. In each case, they had very brutal treatment. Several lost wives, sons, and entire families. 1 lost all 13 children. 2 wives were brutally treated. All were at one time or another victims of manhunts and driven from their homes. 12 signers had their homes completely burned. 17 lost everything they owned. Yet not one defected or went back on his pledged word. Their honor and the nation they sacrificed so much for, and so much to create, is still intact. So, in conclusion on my brief history lesson, what price are you willing to pay for freedom? Well, thank you for your attention and attendance, and I'll see you next fall. Have a good day, and thanks again for attending.